Welcome to Renewable Now with your host, Peter Arpin. For the next hour, learn about the greener side of business. And now, here's your host, Peter Arpin.
Hello, Michael. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, young man. Where are you today?
I am in beautiful downtown Providence after an amazing event that took place yesterday that no one planned for. And that was the what do you call it? The power outage that happened because of the squirrel.
So what are you doing? Are you saving energy there in Providence, Michael?
Oh, we had to save energy without by force because the whole city was out of power.
Oh, was it your squirrel?
No, not my squirrel. I don't keep pet squirrels.
Well, it's good to see you back in Providence and back in the studio. Now, how are we doing? Are we actually on air today?
Yes, you are. And
I love it. I love it. That is a miracle. Well, my thanks to you and, of course, to our wonderful engineer who's there today, right? Leo Sullivan?
That is correct.
Down from Boston. Is he holding paper clips together on the wires and keeping us on the air? Or?
Oh, paper clips, clothespins, gum, all sorts of stuff.
So, Michael, as you well know, I am not in Providence in the studio. That's because it's too dark there. I'm actually at the Arpin Group headquarters getting yelled at by my brother today. We know we're actually having a ball. We have the Renewable Now crew here, and we just filmed a wonderful report, and Arpin went through a sustainability assessment, a score assessment. Maureen Hart, the International Society of Sustainability Professionals, you remember Maureen was on the radio with us.
Yes, I do.
And her organization is wonderful. She's based in Hartford, and we are going through an assessment to see what we're doing well in terms of sustainability, what we're not doing well, how we can get better, and how we can model positive changes in the moving industry. And so over the next few weeks, we will be showing some of the footage and the interviews. We'll be showing what an assessment for a business looks like, which I think will be really interesting. And I think it's a great tie-in today. As you know, we will be talking with Jennifer Wright, who's the president of Ecovention LLC down in New York. And Jennifer obviously gets being eco-friendly and running a business around sustainability. So I think it will be a great tie-in, Michael. But before we bring Jennifer on, I just want to update everybody. Hopefully you are listening right now on 1320 WRMP, the flagship for the Renewable Now Network. Of course, all of our shows are archived, Michael, as you well know, on renewablenow.biz. And we just came back, the crew, we just came back from California. And we were helping to host and broadcast the sustainability conference at UCLA. And our thanks to Narit Katz, who's the sustainability director at that wonderful school. I also want to thank Molly. And Michael, you remember we talked to Molly a couple weeks ago before we went out to California. Molly is the executive director, in fact, of the Sustainable Business Council of LA, and she helped coordinate and put that on. And we are going to be introducing all sorts of both radio and TV shows out of our trip. One of the things we did, Mike, that was exciting was to talk to Matt Peterson, who's the first sustainability chief for the city of Los Angeles. And Matt has a pretty amazing history. He brings unbelievable qualifications. And we also got a chance to do a factory tour with Kelly, who's the CEO at Earth Friendly Products, who you might remember we talked to before we left for California as well.
I sure do.
And the other stop we made this week, well, two of them really, Mike, that we want to report on. Monday, we were at Bridgewater State University in Bridgewater, Mass., and they put on a very nice conference about educational standards around sustainability, and they had reps. Jim Murphy was there from Rhode Island College, our co-host.
Murphy.
Smurfy Murphy was there doing a bang-up job, and we had reps from UMass Dartmouth and Tufts University and Stonehill College. They were fabulous. Wait till you see the farming they're doing down there. We will definitely get them on the radio side. That was all hosted by Bridgewater State University. Great school on a great day, beautiful day Monday with the fall colors in the background. And then tonight, Michael, you may have heard, I don't know if you're promoting there in the studio, Rhode Island College has a premiere of a film we've promoted that's all about GMO, right? Genetically modified seeds. I think at the time, Mike, we talked to Bonnie from Whole Foods about this.
Yes, I do remember that.
And I think they're helping to promote that. That's going to be at the Rhode Island College campus tonight in downtown Providence, Rhode Island. And we're anxious to see that film. We've talked a lot about it. And we are anxious to talk to Jim and some of the people that are there tonight. So that is all going on right now, this week, and parts of last week, all of which will give us lots of material to put out on WRMP 1320 and ReNewableNow.biz. But let's get to Jennifer Wright. She is the president of EcoVention, LLC. She co-founded that company in 2009 with two business partners. Jennifer holds a Bachelor of Commerce honors degree. What a show-off, huh, Michael? I bet you and I together didn't get honors degrees from Queen's University in Kingstown, Ontario, up near Toronto, where I spent a lot of time and worked.
I got an honors degree from Fisher-Price University.
I'm pretty impressed with that, actually. That's more than I have. That's really good. She holds an MBA from Columbia University, and she brings 5 years of experience in the food packaging industry and 12 years, we're going to get into this, 12 years of finance and credit experience from her tenure with leading banks, Citicorp and Royal Bank of Canada. And very interesting to me, of course, how she migrated from that career to being an entrepreneur. So Jennifer Wright, welcome to the business side of Green.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
It is our pleasure. Is it raining down in New York City today, or?
It's very gray, and it's been raining off and on, unfortunately.
But we need the rain. We were in Southern California. Boy, they are desperate for rain. We might have to figure out a way to put it in your boxes and send it out there. So, Jennifer, we are the business side of Green. We love looking at the economics, the financial side of the picture, and motivate people that way. You have a really nice financial history. Tell us about that and maybe trace for us your evolution from there to being an entrepreneur and to being an innovator around packaging.
Yeah, sure. So, as you mentioned, I started EcoVention with two business partners back in 2009. My partner, Will Walsh, at the time, was a brilliant designer and had a strong engineering background. And my other partner, Ned, came from the food and restaurant industry. And as you mentioned, for my part, I had 12 years of experience in finance with two major banks. And based on our complementary backgrounds, we just felt that we'd make a very good team together. We raised capital back in 2009, and by January 1st, 2010, we were tooled up and ready to manufacture and ready to do business. And we generated $500,000 in sales in year one, and we've grown by 35 to 50% every year since then.
Why did you decide, Jennifer, to do that here in the U.S.? I'm interested if you are manufacturing some of your products, and we're going to get into those, particularly the pizza box creation, which we covered through Renewable Now on our main site, and I think we blogged on as well, which gave birth to this interview. Why the U.S.?
There's two reasons. The first reason is that we always felt that it was important to produce locally if possible. The second reason is that from a carbon footprint perspective, it just didn't make sense to transport materials all the way over from China or India to produce the boxes. We can produce them efficiently here, and we can lower our carbon footprint significantly by not producing overseas.
Well, that's exactly right. When we talked with CEO Kelly at Earth Friendly Products. She mentioned how they source, because they're in manufacturing. They have multiple facilities in the U.S. and now starting to expand internationally, and they make sure they source all of that locally. They do not want the complexity, right, of moving things 10,000 miles.
Right, right.
What about, Jennifer, given your background in finance, working in the banking industry, what is your passion then for becoming an entrepreneur, but more importantly, kind of within this green economy?
I've always had an interest in sustainable products, and I've always had an interest in entrepreneurism. And when William Walsh, who is my partner, sadly he's passed since we started the company, when he showed me his product for the first time, which he patented it, I just thought it was the most brilliant idea. And around that time, I had gone back to MBA school, and I offered to show it around, show it at business competitions, show it at intra and inter-school entrepreneurial events, and the reaction was just incredible. We had so much interest from people, and we ultimately actually we actually ended up getting some seed funding from Columbia because they liked the idea so much. So it was kind of a no-brainer at that point. It married a couple of things: my love for entrepreneurism and my interest in sustainability, and we had a good fit from a team perspective with Ned, Will, and myself.
Well, I am so sorry, of course, to hear about him passing away, a young guy, and he is seen in many. You've gotten some great coverage. We're going to talk about this later. Really good press coverage. He is seen in a lot of that, and I just want to make note of your company is EcoVention LLC, but your website is actually www.greenboxnewyork.com. Is that right? Is that where they'll see a lot of this material?
Yes, that's right. A lot of people informally know us as GreenBox because that's our brand name.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was going to say he's clearly very passionate, very innovative. But I heard something about a celebrity that might have helped you get some momentum. What happened there?
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher helped us way back in 2009 when Twitter started to filter more into the mainstream. I didn't know much about Twitter, and I didn't know how to use Twitter per se, but I knew that Ashton Kutcher had challenged CNN to a Twitter popularity contest, so I knew he would be a good person to send a tweet to. So I sent him a tweet with a YouTube link to our demo video, which Will appears in, and it showed the functionality of the GreenBox, and he tweeted it out to his followers with one word, which was smart. And I didn't really realize what that meant, that he tweeted it out to so many people. But we quickly realized it when our hits on YouTube started to increase by the thousands every hour. And within weeks, we had over 1 million hits on our demo video and interest from all over the place. The interest came almost too soon because we were only tooled up in one plant at that time. So we weren't even able to meet all the demand, but it just gave us a tremendous amount of exposure.
Well, that's good karma. When you're doing the right things, Jennifer, a lot of good things happen. It's funny, we're hoping and expecting you to do the same for ReNewable Now after this show. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll do. We'll do.
So we have touched on the pizza box creation. And unlike Will, who was showing it and ripping it on television, you have to describe it for us, if you don't mind.
Yes, sure. So the GreenBox is a pizza box made from 100% recycled material. The top of the box tears off and breaks down into 4 sturdy plates, and the bottom folds into a handy storage container for leftovers. Consumers just love it, and their reaction is, why has no one thought of this before, really?
That was my reaction, too.
Yeah, we get that all the time.
And why, and maybe you can hearken to what William would say, why did you start with that particular product? I'm guessing that the demand is so great, there's so much pizza served, but why this particular creation?
Well, Will actually was a football player in college who ate a lot of pizza, so this was just a natural product for him, to be honest. He lived with a bunch of football players. They never had plates in the house, and he would just take to ripping the top off the box and breaking it down into plates. And after college, he said, there's got to be something I can do at the bottom of the box. And he just took his X-Acto knife and started playing around, and he finally came up with an idea. So it was sort of a natural choice. But by the same token, he also had a very strong interest in sustainability. And so he really was, that's what he always did, was he always looked for ways to improve on outmoded or outdated products. That was his thing.
And I had mentioned to you yesterday that when we run our California footage, we talked with a great guy, Spencer Brown, really creative. He's innovated about 56 products in and around the moving industry, but then expanded to where they're used in a lot of vertical industries. His whole premise was, let me find what's going to the landfill and reuse it.
That's great.
And I think, you know, when I think about Will or William, and it's funny to think about where this inspiration comes for so many people. What happens, there's a bit of a disconnect, I think, sometimes. I'll ask people about, okay, I've finished my pizza, I want to recycle the box, and they're like, forget it. It touched food, it's stained, and whatever the case might be. Yours is great. I mean, it's 100% recycled material. It obviously eliminates, so if I don't finish it, I don't have to wrap it in aluminum. You've got, the storage is great, the takeout is great, but what happens at the end of the line, Jennifer?
Yes, that's an interesting point. There's a bit of a myth in the market that amongst consumers that pizza boxes can never be recycled. The truth is that sometimes they can and sometimes they can't be. And you really got to check with your local municipality to check whether a pizza box is recyclable. For example, in New York City, they accept pizza boxes that have been soiled, that have pizza grease on them. They just ask that you scrape off the cheese and any excess food. Whereas in San Francisco, they require that you compost the box. But the GreenBox helps in whatever the situation, because of the fact that there is the reuse factor. Like you said, the GreenBox eliminates the need for additional disposable plates. It eliminates the need for aluminum foil and plastic wrap that you might use to store the pizza in the fridge. It negates the need to wash dishes, so you're saving on water and detergents and everything else. And it creates less waste. I think everyone's seen pizza boxes strewn on the side of the street just because people can't fit it into the receptacles.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of savings from that perspective as well.
Amazingly convenient, and I think you made a good point when we were talking about Will and his experience on the college campus. So lots of fast food there, right?
Absolutely.
And geez, what if you helped them, because a lot of times they don't always have a lot of plates and aluminum foil and storage facilities. And so, you've really, on a large scale basis, if you penetrate a school, you've made, I think, a significant difference, particularly in a place like New York, where potentially those kids, in fact, because I love the idea, what you just said about composting. We have a new legislation in Rhode Island that's going to mandate a lot of composting. And I never thought about the fact that box could actually go in a compost bin.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big, bulky box, and it's tough to break down. And the fact that the GreenBox has perforations and scores to it makes it that much easier to break down for composting purposes. In fact, 2 universities in Rhode Island recognized that a long time ago and have been using the GreenBox for a long time. The Brown University, the Gate, their pizzeria, and Johnson and Wales University, their pizzeria, Red Sauce, both use the GreenBox. So students love it, universities love it because they get it, and there's a heck of a lot of pizza consumed on campuses.
Well, and we're going to go to a break. We'll be right back. But Jennifer, when you talk about Brown and Johnson in Wales, I'm in Rhode Island today. So Brown is world renowned, right? There's people and kids coming there from all over the world. So I think about the kind of impact they have culturally across the world. Johnson and Wales is one of the great universities, I think, anywhere as it relates to prepping chefs.
Yep.
And food service experts. And geez, what an impact they could have when they're exposed to those things in school.
Absolutely. We were very excited when they expressed an interest in the GreenBox.
How long have you been working with Brown and Johnson and Wales?
Oh, it's been a good few years, actually.
Really?
Yep. They've both been using it for a while. They're one of the quickest to jump on board.
And I must believe that their experience has been good, and the kids like it, I would think, right?
Very positive. They love the box.
Well, when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about, does all this have an added cost? What's the benefit to, because you've got lots of pizza shops, and even I've seen trucks on the street using your product. And we're going to talk about the benefits to the consumer. Give us a minute. We'll be right back on Renewable Now.
Here's a question for you. If every U.S. home replaced one light bulb with a compact fluorescent bulb, the energy saved could light how many homes? 1 million? 2 million? 3 million? The answer is 3 million homes. By 2030, investments in energy efficiency can help Americans save $300 billion each year. Take the energy quiz. Energy lives here.
See the driver starting up a new day, bringing all your office needs your way and my way. I want my WB. I want my WB. Office lady waiting to be set free. Set free. Now watch your hero man with a delivery.
WB Mason.
Renew your world, renew your life, renew your mind. RenewableNow.biz.
Thanks for staying with us on Renewable Now. I am talking with Jennifer Wright, president of EcoVention, LLC. Jennifer, I'm guessing your core customers are the many, many pizza shops that we have seen in the U.S., and certainly, too, I've seen pizza vendors that are out on the street in the trucks. How do you convince them? How do you get in front of them? How do they find you? How do you convince them to use your pizza box?
We actually have had such a tremendous amount of interest online that we have been in the lucky situation where we've had consumers going to their local pizzerias and saying, have you seen this? And the pizzerias eventually get in contact with us through their distributors, and that's really how we've managed to generate our sales. We do some cold calls, but not so many. It's really we're responding to the inquiries and the demand in the market right now, and we're a small company and growing every year. And
I am so envious. Imagine the consumers. That you are so lucky to have that incredible workforce that are hungry for your product. But is it a tough sell? Is it more expensive? What are the benefits to those pizza owners?
No, from a manufacturing perspective, there's literally no difference in cost. We make the product from a standard pizza blank. So all we've done to the standard design of a pizza box is we've added a few perforations and scores in the actual box to create the functionality. So from that perspective, there's no additional cost. Our only difficult thing as a small company is making sure we have tooling that can produce the boxes in as many manufacturing locations as possible so that we don't have to ship the boxes very far. And every year we're doing that. We're now manufacturing from 7 locations around the country, and we continue to expand that every year. So our goal is to be able to deliver to any pizzeria or restaurant or educational institution that wants the box around the country.
Now, the company is based in New York. You said you have 7 locations, manufacturing locations. Are those spread out now all over the U.S.? Is it all domestic, or are you in international markets as well?
Yes, the 7 locations are all across the U.S., all the way from L.A. to New York, up in Indiana, and down in Fort Worth, Texas. We're all over the place. We do manufacture internationally, but the boxes that we're producing internationally are sold in the international market. We don't ship boxes into the country. So, for example, we actually now have a licensing agreement with Pizza Hut in the Middle East, and they're producing their boxes in the Middle East and using the GreenBox technology. We also have a licensing agreement down in Australia. We have GreenBox Australia now, and they're manufacturing within Australia and delivering all over the country. And we also have a partnership down in Central America where they're producing the GreenBox for lots of restaurants down there as well.
That's a lot of expansion in a short period of time. But again, a lot of it is driven by maybe consumers, even business owners, who are hungry to make it more convenient and do something good for the environment.
Yes, that's the beauty of social media. We're amazed every day to see the emails coming in from France and Germany and all parts of Asia and Africa and everywhere else, because they've seen the demonstration video online or some other news item. So
it's good that we see a common desire, almost a bonding one. And I love that. So you've mentioned social media a couple of times. Is that a big part of how you promote and market now?
It's pretty much the only way we market. We really don't advertise. We focus on social media because consumers are the ones that get this product immediately, and they're the ones that have been going to their restaurants, and that's what's worked for us. So Will's daughter, actually, Lexi, she's now our social media coordinator, and she's done an amazing job with our social media efforts. We blog and send out press releases and Facebook posts and tweets and everything else.
That is a really nice story, that next generation, his daughter, who's finding an important role. For the business owners that are out there, and we've got lots of them and certainly many are small business owners, even startups. We deal a lot with startups. What is, in your estimation, maybe the proper use of social media? And is it across Facebook versus Twitter? I'm just wondering what your experience is and what has served you well that kind of rings credibly to the consumer.
We try and bring up stories that might be of interest, that relate to the GreenBox, but also may be of interest to our audience. So Lexi likes to post about environmental issues, about issues surrounding pizza, of course, and sometimes we post about the environmental savings we feel we're generating. For example, we actually have a environmental impact calculator that we generated based on some EPA information, and we know based on the number of pizza boxes that we produce every year what environmental savings that we can generate.
Now, is that visible? Because that would be really keen to our audience. We love data. We really love tracking some of that economic gain with environmental protection and so forth. How do we see that?
It's something we should put on our website. We have not done it yet, but we are actually in the process of improving our website. That's extremely outdated right now. So that's actually that's quite a good idea. I will think about posting that as a calculator on our website.
We would love that. One of the things we've invested fairly heavily in sustainable energy. I'm going to talk about that with you for some of your locations, but one of the things we do is post all of that data to our customers and anybody interested in terms of emissions reduction. We're doing the same thing on the fleet. In Rhode Island, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, just to give you a sense of the savings, we produce pizza boxes in the millions at this point, but for every million boxes that we're producing, we're saving 6,000 trees, 2.5 million gallons of water, 700 barrels of oil, 1,100 cubic yards of landfill, and the list goes on. So the savings are significant when you're making use of 100% recycled material. And on top of that, you're saving on the ancillary storage materials and disposable plates that we talked about as well.
Wow, those are fabulous statistics. I'm wondering then, are you unique or are there competitors? And what percentage of the boxes used today, maybe let's take the U.S., are in eco-friendly boxes?
There are about 2.4 billion pizza boxes used in the U.S. every year, just in the U.S. And the bulk of those boxes have some recycled content. I would say the average is around 30% recycled content, but not a large percentage are 100% recycled. There are 100% recycled pizza boxes out there, but the bulk are made from virgin and recycled fibers.
Now, you had made the point yesterday when we chatted where it's potentially necessary at times to use virgin material versus recycled. Can you explain that?
Yeah, that's right. We're not totally against using virgin fiber because even according to the EPA, you have to introduce virgin fiber into the mix. You can only recycle paper materials about 7 times before the fibers break down, and you just can't produce anything out of it anymore. So there has to be a constant introduction of virgin material into the mix, and that's not altogether a bad thing because especially if you're using sustainable forests that ascribe to the sustainable forestry initiatives. But to the extent that you can use 100% recycled, that's a great thing.
Well, I think you make a wonderful point. We have talked to soil specialist scientists. We've talked to managers of farms, of tree farms. As you said, there's quite an effort to properly manage forest and trees. Right. And if we can do that, certainly not doing everything with virgin material, we have a better shot at not stripping the land, but still providing consumer products that are earth-friendly. So I think you make a really good point. So would you expect then, where it still might be a relatively small percentage that are 100% recycled, and the other thing I like about your story is that you do manufacture and source locally. Some of those other boxes may be sourced internationally or not so locally, and that adds to the environmental impact. But do you see fairly quickly your industry getting to 100%?
I think it's going to be tough to get to 100% very quickly. I think that's the goal to get there, but I think it's a long road because it's an expensive process for a lot of existing manufacturing plants. But that is the hope. Pratt Industries is one of the manufacturing partners that we work with, and they produce 100% recycled material across all their plants, and they've been expanding and every year and are adding plants every year that produce 100% recycled pizza boxes. So we're moving in the right direction. As
you look to source material and work with manufacturers, we're all into the supply side management side now. Are you mindful of are they using renewable energy on their facilities? How do they ship their things, even if it's local? How much does that factor into how you select suppliers?
We are very conscious of that. As I mentioned, all of our suppliers that we ship to within the U.S. are U.S. based. That's an important thing for us. We make sure that they are members of the SFI, which is the Sustainable Forestry Initiative, which means they hold out that they're replanting as fast as they're cutting down, amongst other requirements. And we like working with manufacturing plants like Pratt Industries. They have some plants that have a zero carbon footprint. They produce their own. Yes, they produce their own power, and they're completely self-sustainable.
Wow, that is a fantastic story. We'd like to talk with them. We're actually working to try to develop a model here in Rhode Island for really the first net zero manufacturing facility where they can offset through renewables their energy use and not create any waste. It's not easy, though, as you well know.
Yeah. No, it's a very difficult thing, but it's incredible that they've done it.
It's a nice goal to have. We actually came away amazingly impressed with their earth-friendly products in California. I believe they are at the cusp of a net zero on both energy and waste. And, as a manufacturing company, you think, how could you ever get to that level? It's amazing.
Exactly. I know. It's incredible.
Before we go to break, one of the things I'm really interested in, and I know our global audience is as well, we help and work with and talk to startups and accelerators and incubators and so forth. And as you developed your business plan, was it difficult to get financing? Were there banks and financial experts who said, "Oh, this is never going to work"?
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest time in the market because we were looking at raising capital in 2009, and as you know, the financial world wasn't doing so well back then between 2008 and 2009. So it wasn't an ideal time to be raising capital, but we actually, again, were lucky enough to have a product that people responded to very quickly. And we actually did, while I was at Columbia University, we actually did a couple of what they called pitch fests on campus. And we started to raise capital that way and eventually raised all that we needed through friends and family that were interested. Yeah, it was a great thing to have access to the Columbia campus too, because that put us in touch with a lot of people that had an interest in sustainability and just like the product, just thought it was a product that should be out there in the market.
And have you self-funded out of operating cash since then?
Yeah, we've actually been profitable since year one. As I mentioned, we generated about $500,000 sales, and we were profitable in year one, and we've continued to be profitable ever since. So it's been an amazing thing.
And I see you and your company as part of this kind of new green economy, which is opening many doors. What do you think is the one thing that you did really, really well, that really helped cement your success in building a business plan and then executing on it? Because we all know from the classroom to the computer-generated feasibility study to the business plan to execution, it's a long journey. Is there anything you did not so well that you would change?
We did a couple of things right and a couple of things wrong. I would say the thing that we did right is we were by and large very prudent in the way we operated. We didn't take on an enormous amount of debt. We didn't overhire. We tried to grow on an as needed basis, and we were very careful about investing ahead of demand. So that we definitely did right. What we did wrong, I could almost say the same thing. I think sometimes you can be too prudent. So perhaps we could have grown faster if we were just a little less risk averse in that sense. So
well, and you come out
but
of the
so
banking.
far it's worked out for us.
Yeah, and it's a tough balance. You come out of the banking business, so you have a tendency to be fairly conservative, right?
That's right. My last position, I was a credit analyst. So
oh boy.
I come by it naturally.
That dreaded credit analyst that we've all dealt with. But we are going to run a couple of commercials. And when we come back, Jennifer, I want to talk a little bit about this pizza success story here in Rhode Island that's been using your product. And I also want to get into some of the other products that you are helping to create. We'll be right back on Renewable Now.
Renewable Now is being brought to you today by the Arpin Group. Arpin, creating customers for life. Rhode Island College, reach, inspire, and connect. WB Mason, for all of your office needs. And by Cardi's Furniture and Colonial Printing, for all of your sustainable printing needs. We at Colonial Printing are driven to make your creation a masterpiece. It is no wonder why our customers have been coming back to us time and time again for over the last 33 years. At Colonial Printing, quality craftsmanship is not a matter of degree. According to the project at hand, it's an overall attitude. Our clients consider us a working partner that they can always count on. Colonial Printing works intelligently to make your job easier. We sincerely hope that you'll give us an opportunity to prove what an asset we can truly be and add you to our growing family of customers for a lifetime. Find out more information about us. Feel free to contact us today at 1-800-499-9820. Visit us at 333 Strawberry Field Road in Warwick, Rhode Island. We also invite you to visit our website at colonialprinting.net. Colonial Printing, for all of your sustainable printing needs.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a 600-pound gorilla, able to pack any home in a single move. Look, pulling up to our house. It's a delivery. It's a truck. No, son, that's the Arpin Moving Guy, an advanced mover from the Arpin Group, sent to defeat rogue movers and moving giants that provide bad home moves. He delivers customer satisfaction, quality work, and award-winning service. For a super move, call Arpin at 800-343-3500 or visit arpin.com. The Moving Guy, saving the world from bad moves, one customer at a time.
For staying with us on Renewable Now. I am happily talking with Jennifer Wright, President, Ecovention LLC down in New York. Jennifer, you do a great job on your site of kind of promoting success stories. There's one here in Rhode Island. Is it Pizza Paya?
Yes, that's right. Pizza Pyre.
And how did you get working with them? And they're in Massachusetts as well?
They're in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, yes,
okay,
exactly.
Great. How did you get working with them, and what has been the results? It seems as though everybody's very happy with the results.
Yeah, the owner of the company saw the product online and just thought it was fabulous, and actually was talking to another pizzeria owner in the area who had recommended to him, and he gave us a call, and we started talking to him about it, and he actually came out with his own custom GreenBox with the Pizza Pyre logo on the box. Yeah.
And those
he has
boxes
a location in.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was going to mention he's located in Providence, Rhode Island, and he's in Cambridge and in Boston.
Well, I know what I'm going to do for lunch today.
Yeah.
But those boxes, are they manufactured in New England or for him?
Oh, no, we manufacture them in Staten Island, New York, actually.
Oh, okay, great. Close by, obviously.
And they're distributed through a distributor that's actually based in New Jersey and in New England as well.
Jennifer, your company also designs other products that have a similar kind of mission, right?
Yes, we do. Our goal is to come out with complementary products to the GreenBox that our existing customers can benefit from. So one of our most popular ancillary products is a slice box. And our slice box is different from any other slice box because it is A, made from 100% recycled material, but B, it's not coated. A lot of slice boxes are coated, which automatically renders them unrecyclable. You cannot put a coated product into the recycling. So the fact that ours is, it makes it compostable and it makes it recyclable.
I love it.
We're selling that.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. We're selling it to Whole Foods stores in multiple regions, and they just love the product.
And I think, as you said, it's great. It's related. It's a nice extension. It helps fill a void and a need. I love the fact, as you said, it's not coated, and certainly there's got to be a lot of them flying off the shelves at Whole Foods, anywhere, really.
They make very good pizza. Yeah.
Yeah.
People love it.
Yes. I want to get back for a second then to, because data is very important as we tell your story and your success. So are you able then to really start tracking? I'm thinking about all of the environmental performances. So, you know, the total percentage of virgin versus recycled, what you're diverting from the landfill, what emissions you're saving. And do you kind of have somebody that's almost a quasi-sustainability director who can help you track this performance?
So far, we've relied on outside studies to handle that. That's something we'd like to do. We developed the environmental impact calculator to help us on our way with that. But there's more information we'd like to track, and we'd like to be able to have someone in place that can explore new areas, not only just for our own information purposes, but so that we can develop additional products that will be helpful to the market and to consumers.
You know what I'm thinking too? We're all about education and, you know, kind of information and inspiration and getting to that next generation. I'm thinking, you know, if you could get into schools and universities and also provide some of the data, it would be, I think you'd be an inspiration to students.
Yeah, we actually send a lot of samples out to students. We get a lot of students asking to do projects about the GreenBox, whether it be for business or sustainability or whatever. And we love that. We always make sure to send samples out to them when they're requested.
And have you mentioned Brown University and Johnson and Wales, and we're always on college campuses. We just got back from UCLA and Bridgewater. We're going to be down at Stonehill. And are a lot of the college and universities, their food service programs, are they adapting this? Or?
Yes, there's many. Sometimes we're not even aware. Since we sell through distribution, we're not even always aware who's purchasing the box. But I do know that there's a number of other New England universities using the GreenBox, including Harvard University and a few others in New York City. So, yeah, so they're definitely enjoying using the box.
You know, I'm sitting here thinking, too, about the whole fast food industry and thinking about takeout for Chinese. In fact, it's funny, there's a company we've talked to that is trying to do a really nice online and delivery service for Chinese restaurants that would be comparable to pizza, and thinking about, obviously, a Dunkin' Donuts or a Wendy's or a Burger King or McDonald's. I'm just wondering overall, like, how biodegradable maybe are their containers, and can you start to help them use recycled material and keep things out of the landfill?
That's our goal. We've had our hands full with just responding to demand for the pizza box. But as we expand, we hope to move into other areas of food packaging. We're already doing some sandwich packaging, hoagie boxes and wrap sleeves and that type of thing. So it'd be a natural transition to move to other chains like Dunkin' Donuts and other fast food restaurants out there.
And certainly, I think about New York City and the mayor having pushed a lot, right, for restaurants to be more green and to think about their packaging. And you're in a nice place to introduce some of these things.
Yeah, actually, the New York City government featured the GreenBox in one of their Plan YC shows on TV, and they've been very supportive of the product.
Now, one of the things I noticed as I was doing some research and watching the many reports on your company, you've got some advertising opportunities you offer.
Yes, well, the GreenBox, the GreenBox is a great advertising vehicle in general. Every pizza box, you can put a logo on any pizza box. But what we highlight to our customers is that our advertising duration and hit rate is a lot higher because, one, it's an interactive box, so people are looking at it and reading it and touching it, and so they're going to see the pizzeria's logo that much more. The second thing is that the box can go in the fridge, so it could be kept in the fridge for 24, 48 hours, and every time someone opens the fridge, they can see the pizzeria's logo. Beyond that, we have, because of the functionality of the box, there's tear-out triangular pieces. So some of the pizzerias that we work with are using those tear-out triangular pieces for coupons and for loyalty programs where they can say, collect 10 of these triangular pieces and you'll get a free box of breadsticks or something like that. So it's been, it's a great advertising vehicle. And just because of the wow factor that the GreenBox has, people always get a kick out of seeing it. It creates a lot of buzz in and of itself and creates a lot of local press for anyone that's looking to use the GreenBox.
Nice association. And I'm just wondering then, do you or do they offer advertising opportunities? So let's say the Pizza Paya, as an example, here in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, would they offer an advertising opportunity to, say ARPAN or ReNewable Now, or do they purely promote themselves?
Pizzerias are always able to do that. We don't restrict them that way, so they absolutely could. If they were able to work out some sort of agreement with Coca-Cola, for example, to include their logo on the side of the box to defray the cost of the pizza box, that's totally up to them, and they can do that. And because of the triangular pieces that I mentioned, it makes a lot of sense for them to do that. So that's something that hasn't been done a lot yet, but it's definitely a great opportunity for pizzerias. What
a nice adjunct, though. What a nice revenue stream, residual revenue stream. I think that's great. And, of course, it brings additional information to consumers, hopefully benefits their customers with further discounts. We've got about 7 minutes left, and I noticed that your company, certainly around this particular product, has won some awards, has had a lot of press coverage. Tell us about that and kind of how all of that happened. It must have come in a pretty big wave, the way your company has grown.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've been around since 2010 in the market, but we've managed to maintain a lot of interest from consumers and the public in general. I guess the first wave was Ashton Kutcher. A lot of articles came on the back of that, a lot of blogging, a lot of TV shows, actually, we were on back then. And we continue to get press. We just got featured in the Huffington Post last month and in the LA Times. Yeah, and that led to a lot of major blogs writing about us, like SF Globe, BuzzFeed, Thrillist, Bustle, blogs that really have an impact. So that's been incredible. We were also featured on the Rachel Ray show and on The Chew just this year.
Wow.
And we've also had a lot of interest from radio shows and local news stations around the country that have spoken about us, and we only hear about it afterwards. But we try and collect all the news clips when we can.
Well, I think it's so positive, and it's great. I think we all need to migrate to sustainability, to a cleaner, brighter future. There's little things we can do to help make that happen, and making good purchasing decisions. Even you mentioned Whole Foods, as you think about buying.
Yes, actually, that you reminded me about an award that we're very proud of, and that is Whole Foods nominated us for a responsible packaging award for the GreenBox, which we actually won in the end. So we're very proud of that award.
Congratulations on that. That's a great thing. One thing that strikes me as I talk to experts all over the world, and their government leaders, and they're doing legislation, and they're lawyers, and they're litigators, they're business owners. It just seems to me that maybe packaging in general is going to get a lot more environmentally friendly, and maybe even be mandated by the government, where they start to penalize those producers of packaging material that don't meet environmental standards. Would you agree with that? And I'm guessing in a way it helps you, in a way it hurts you, because everybody's going to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I would agree that that's the direction that governments are moving. We're seeing that in small ways here and there. Grocery stores in certain cities are being, they're having to move to paper only. They can't use plastic. That type of thing. There's a surcharge for taking a bag. I think these are all great initiatives, and we would not mind at all if that's the way the world is moving.
Good.
I think I think that would be a wonderful thing, and we have a great product too. I think it's one that will hold its own
long term.
If other environmental products come out there on the market.
I think it will, and because it's competitive, and because it fills a void, and it helps the producer, the restaurants and the purveyors of pizza. I think it's got that triple win feel to it. So, do you have predictions generally then on what the industry will look like, and also will this grow as quickly around the globe? Given the level of interest we've had from around the globe, I think it will grow around the globe. Our goal is to make the GreenBox the industry standard, and that's 10 years from now. That's what we want to see. We see no reason why everybody shouldn't be using a box that is more helpful to the environment, adds convenience to the consumer, and doesn't cost more. So that's the goal, is to make this the industry standard, and we believe we can get there. And as an environmentalist, because I think you definitely are, and a business environmentalist, which we are as well, are you generally then optimistic? You pretty positive? And is there any, as we close out the show, any bit of advice you'd offer other startups and entrepreneurs? I'm very optimistic, and I think the fact that consumers are behind this change makes me even more optimistic. And in terms of advice I'd offer to other entrepreneurs, I would just say choose something you believe in and that you're passionate about, and your success will come. Well, and it doesn't hurt to have good partners, and certainly we think it's a testimony to William Walsh, right? And certainly to his daughter and to his family as well. Yeah. Jennifer definitely. Wright, president of EcoVention LLC, thanks for being with us. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I'm Peter Arpin for Renewable Now, the show that brings you the business side of green.